Roscoe, Mr. Shawty, put it on me.
Please.
Hey, do y'all remember that?
A safe space for men to be emotional and to be transparent in that has been shrinking. So like opening the door, creating a safe space, doing all these other things is gonna get you way more than trying to tell somebody what to do or being like, oh, I spend money, whatever it is that make me feel like I'm the man, because it's damaging the dating world for the men who aren't like that. You know what I'm saying? And it makes women feel like they gotta be this or that, or they gotta try a little harder in this department when really it should just be a safe space. There's a soft spot in there, bro. And there's a way to get to it. And it's not by trying to overpower them when it comes to being, you know what I'm saying? Like you don't gotta do that.
Yeah, does it? I try to tell them all the time, but they don't want to hear me. I'm like, listen.
So like, if we gotta go, if we going somewhere, we taking a trip, you wanna move to California, let's go. Let's go do what we doing. Like one time I ended up in like Arizona. It was the worst relationship.
Arizona?
Well, I really wanted to go to California to finish this album that I was doing.
Okay, so that's on the way.
But the love life part of it is what took me somewhere else.
Now, where did it take you?
To jail. Andre 3000 is like my favorite person.
And why is that?
Hearing what he's talking about and even how you can take a break after being at the pinnacle of something, being able to respect them enough to be able to do something separate. I'm not the accolades that I've achieved. You get what I'm saying? I'm the person that achieved those things. So David Banner taught me one time, he had this little book that he carried around and in the book I saw like all these little lines. He was like, you know why I carry this book around? I was like, why? He was like, I know where it is. So I can never say that I'm not in control or don't know what's going on. I'm responsible for what's going on. We survived 100% of our worst days. And I think that in itself is a blessing and a reminder enough to just keep getting up and showing up.
Welcome to the xoMAN podcast. I'm your host, Kiara Walker.
They say men don't talk. They hold it all in, never let their guard down. But here, we like to do things differently. I sit down with Black men from all walks of life, actors, singers, entrepreneurs, athletes, and everyday guys to peel back the layers of who they are beyond the stereotypes. A space where Black men get to be real, raw, and unfiltered. We're talking about relationships, love, success, struggles, fears, and the parts of masculinity that don't always get the spotlight. Some conversations will challenge what you think you know. Some might make you laugh, and some might just make you look at the men in your life a little differently. So whether you're here to learn or just hear some dope conversations, you're in the right place. So pull up, listen in, and let's have the conversations that matter. It's time for the xoMAN podcast to begin.
Today, we have a very special guest. I know y'all gonna know who this is. If you're anywhere close to my age range, if you older, if you younger, you have heard of this man. We got Roscoe Dash with us today.
That might be one of the best introductions. I ain't gonna lie.
Let me tell you, we weren't gonna say it, but I'm gonna say it. You know what's been playing in our heads this whole time while we was waiting on you to get up here?
Don't tell them you was waiting on me to come. Like, don't.
No, we've been here all day with multiple interviews.
That's better. Okay, go ahead.
Roscoe, Mr. Shawty, put it on me.
Please.
Hey, do y'all remember that? I'm sure I heard your name in the club when I woke up from falling asleep on those speakers. Thank you so much for your contribution.
So I'm the reason why they knew the difference between somebody having too much to drink and just being tired.
Yeah, I was just tired. I woke up
like Weekend at Uncle Bernie's type.
Yeah.
Word. Okay, cool.
Now, you made so much good music.
Thank you. I appreciate
it. For
you.
so long. And we're going to talk about the music, but we also want to know more about just you.
Okay.
And we're going to start off with a little game called Red Flag, Green Flag.
Oh,
okay.
Wow. Okay.
So. I'm going to present these situations and you tell me if this is a red flag or green flag for you. Right. Most of these are like, if this is somebody who's going to date. Okay. Yeah, we get in your business, but it's like, okay, they are extremely competitive.
I'm an Aries, so I'll say that's like a green. It's really yellow, but it's green though.
Okay. Yeah. They don't respect your career.
Oh, no, it's red.
They're always on a diet.
I'm gonna say.
Y'all think about this one, like what kind of
diet?
I'm
gonna say yeah, but I'm gonna say green because at least they cognizant of the what's going on and trying to do better. So I'll take that.
Okay, they have a crazy ex who pops up from time to time unannounced.
Nah, no, red.
I can imagine. Like, why is your ex still popping up?
That's crazy. That means,
why does he know where to pop up?
You feel what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. He might not be an ex. You know
right.
What I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. It's giving situationship.
Yeah, see what I'm saying?
Okay, they don't believe in marriage.
I'm gonna say yellow because I need to know why.
Okay, we're gonna come back to that.
All right, for sure.
They are spontaneous when it comes to FaceTime, so it's no no FaceTime appointments. They just FaceTime you all the time.
That's cool. I like that. I like transparency and vulnerability, so I'm with that.
I don't know why everybody still feels like they need an appointment or FaceTime.
Okay, we'll get there though. It's cool.
Okay. They have been in multiple monogamous relationships, but they're all back to back to back. It's like they hop from relationship to relationship.
No. I'm gonna say red because that means you're not taking the time to do the work in between.
They're sexually fluid and open to like non-traditional relationships, like maybe a poly relationship, or they might consider themselves queer, or just some form of something else.
Well, I'm gonna go back to my transparency and vulnerability. So I'm gonna green them for that part. Now there's other parts of that I gotta kind of get in between to understand, the inner workings of the thought process behind it, because it could be a lot of red flags that lead to what appears to be green, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I ain't overstimulated like that, even though, you know what I'm saying? So I don't have to do all that to get, it's cool.
Okay.
Have that and then come when you ready.
Okay. And then the last one, she is still wearing business casual to the club like it's 2009.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Like, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yes, it is something wrong with that. You do not have to be polite. Could you imagine the clunky heels, the blazer, and the beads?
All right, so I'm gonna say this, and I'm probably gonna. I don't know. I'm gonna say this though. I'm gonna say this. I don't like the shoes that like. First of all, if the texture of your ensemble, your outfit, and then your shoe is different, I need you to be very particular in knowing what you're doing and make it a statement and not like questionable. You feel what I'm saying? And then the other thing I don't like, and I don't know if it's just me, but I don't like the heels that have the small little hole in the front just for like 3 toes to get through.
Oh, the peep toes.
Why we peeping? I don't want to peep. Like,
I definitely had so many peep toe
shoes. But you put the D, you said had. You put
yeah,
the D.
had,
That's cool.
This was back then. Yeah. I don't know why.
Is it like a thing? Is that like help me understand?
It was a style. I don't get it. I don't know why your toes need to play peekaboo. That's one of those things I don't get. When I look back on those pictures, I wonder. I wonder a lot of times, and I was in all of that.
You ever think like, what was I thinking when I did this? Okay, for sure, I'm cool with that. So that means I'm not crazy. Yeah, for sure.
The big belts.
I'm cool with fashion statement stuff. Like, I'm cool with like whatever. Remember we used to have you talking about the ones that had the diamond, the blinged out ones?
Not those. The little plasticky looking ones. They were supposed to be like leather, but they really was looking.
Oh
like,
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And they would go around up.
Okay, that's too much.
Yeah,
you're right.
But I do remember the nameplate ones.
Yeah, or even the electronic ones too. I remember a lot of, but that's.
I wanted one of those in high school, and I don't know why. Cool. Where was I going to wear it? And how did you program
a teen party? That's all we had was the teen party. And not everybody had that. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people we weren't doing no house parties at the time, but if it was a teen party thing, we was going to find out what we'll probably go get a month worth of outfits for the teen party, knowing that we only going for one day on the weekend 4 times.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So tight.
Oh, what a time to be alive. All right, Roscoe, let's go back to when let's take it back to high school era.
Oh, that's fine.
What were you like back then?
I was him then.
Okay.
Swear.
What made
I
you
love
him?
high school. I've always been like how I am now. And I think anybody who's seeing this or that can attest to like what I'm saying, they're going to be like, yeah, he has been like this. It's been consistent. Like, I always knew what I wanted to do from the time I was like 9 years old.
Oh, wow.
So like, I did sports and stuff like that too, but that just made me a little bit more sociable. You know what I mean? And so like, I may have been a little less righteous at the time, but like, I still did what was right. You know what I'm saying? So I was friends with the nerds. I was friends with the kids and I wasn't ain't nobody picking on nobody in front of me. Like, I was always the same way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so I
like
think
a stand-up guy.
It made me be charismatic to have friends that wanted to be around just because they understood it was a safe place. You know what I'm saying? Even here now, at the big age I'm at now, I'm still the same way. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate high school. If I could go back, I would do it again. Honestly.
Really? Yeah, I would not. What would you do 100%. Over?
All of it. High school.
You just want to relive the moment?
Sometimes I be want to go with my kids just to like see what's going on. I be want to just go pop in. For real.
What was your favorite part of high school?
The stuff we was doing in like the hallways or like intramural stuff, or high school was just a vibe. I took Spanish and French 3, but I really only took French because my grandma was a French teacher. Okay. So I felt like I got a pass on the class if I just went to her house. She been like trying to teach me that stuff since I was a kid anyway. So. Yeah, but high school was a vibe.
High school was fun, but I would not do it over again. Now college, I might redo college.
I only got to go to college for like a couple months, and then
Where'd you go?
I went to GCC. I didn't even get to go like where I wanted to go. You know what I'm saying? But I went for anesthesiology and radiology tech actually.
Really?
Yeah.
And what made you not do that? Because music took off.
It took off. I was like, thank you, God. 'Cause I didn't know.
You had to take all the science classes, all of the stress.
Yeah. Science was cool though until we got to the periodic table. I'm like, I'm cool on that. Like,
yeah, science was hard for me. So I'm glad that I didn't really have to do that.
You didn't have chemistry?
In high school, but not in college.
You had no chemistry in high school?
Oh, okay. Well, no, in high school I did.
She missed it, y'all. It's cool though. Come on. Next question.
Okay, so you're doing music. When did you start making music?
Probably when I was like 8 or 9. I can remember.
Like, what were you doing to make music at 8? I can
remember remember we had the old cassette tapes, and I used to take the little piece of paper and stuff it in the side. Once I learned how to, like, I've always been, I don't know how to say. I've always been like a shortcutter. Let's say that for lack of better words, right?
Okay.
But I've always figured out how to just do certain stuff. You know what I mean? So like I learned how to take the little paper and record over what was on the tape. So I got a karaoke machine one year for Christmas. Man, they couldn't tell me nothing. Boy, I was in there going over all. My mom had to hide the 8 tracks because I'm in there. Like, she's like, don't go over my Bobby Brown, bro. Like, I'm going crazy. But I just always knew what I wanted to do. Music has always been something I gravitated to. My mom played the clarinet, the flute, stuff like that. The drums too. She just told me that the other day. She swears up and down that she's where I get all my sauce from. And it's like probably like 65% of it. But I'm like, I got some moves too. You know what I'm saying? My older brother, he was 10 years older than me. So he put me on like the urban stuff, like the Lil Jons and the T.I.s, Ludacris, like being cultured like where I'm from, if that makes sense, but just not just pertaining to here. So like I listened to a lot of I love DMX growing up. And I used to go pick up we used to go to Earwax. We used to go to all these different stores and go pick up the vinyls and the CDs. And I'll read the booklets and all that stuff. So I've always been like a super big music head. So just being in this space now, it just fits.
Did you ever, when you were recording stuff, did you ever record music videos?
Now, I think I can't tell you if it ended up being what it was supposed to be, but I remember at one point we did carry around like an old camcorder that we were trying to like do that type of stuff on. I was doing everything else but that though, honestly, like making my own like designs like on Photoshop and stuff like that. I think I was recording on like a program that wasn't even a program at one juncture. Actually, when I made Turned Up, I was recording on like Adobe Auditions, which is like for video or something like that. But I just
Audition is Music Premiere.
Type.
Is the video.
Type. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I was using something, I ain't know what I was using.
Yeah.
But I made it work though, so
When I was a kid, I remember being in high school and even younger, and we would have like the VHSs.
Yeah.
And we would be recording like 106 in Park and stuff, trying to learn the choreography. I had no desire to become a dancer or anything like that, but I was a cheerleader and it was just fun. So I can only imagine what it must feel like to be able to do something similar, and you actually can make music.
Right,
I was not original.
But I agree with what you're saying though, because 106 in Park, Rap City the Basement, even MTV and stuff, like all of these things were monumental for me as a child because it made me feel something. And I used to get in trouble a lot growing up. So I needed, I was at home because I was kicked out of school. So I got to watch BET Jams in the morning. I got to, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm locked in, but it just made me feel something. So I think that's similar to what you're saying. You know what I mean? It made you want to get up and dance and learn the dance moves or learn how to overpronunciate your stuff like a DMX or like a whoever. You know what I mean? Like it made me embody whatever it was that I was participating in at that particular juncture. Even Aaliyah, you know what I'm saying? Like she was really big for me, Left Out, all of them. So like you said, to be able to carry the torch for a portion of my life too, and pay some footprints, put some footprints down for the other people that are coming after me or whatever. I think that's super dope. Like it's a full circle moment for me daily. Yeah.
Now with as you start getting more and more successful, do you feel like your ego, you kept it in check, or were there moments where you felt like you started to get a big head once everything was taken off?
I mean, if I'm being honest, I probably did have some moments that came off like it was some times that I hated some songs and then people were trying to tell me like we're going with this, and I'm like, hell no, I ain't doing it. I ain't coming. I ain't that. So that's that. You feel me? But one thing I learned too is that like most of the time when you go do some stuff, or when you're presenting something that you don't really want to do, it's really for your own good and transitioning into something like, so that's why I came up with the mantra to say like, when you get to the next level, your ceiling becomes the floor from the last place. So if we're on this level now, we go upstairs to the next level, this ceiling right here that looks high enough to where we can't reach it is now the floor we're standing on top of it. You know what I'm saying? So you really got to tear yourself all the way down to be able to have ego death or something like that, to be able to really, you don't know where the puzzle pieces go, even though it's the same puzzle pieces. You get what I'm saying? So just learning how to embody that and learning how to just yield to not being in control of things all the time, if that makes sense.
That's hard.
Mm-hmm.
How did you figure out how to do that?
God, and just my spiritual journey, which probably started like close to like 10 years ago, maybe now. I'm about to have my 35th birthday in April. So
happy early birthday.
Thank you. Yeah. So I would say probably like 22. I ran into some people that kind of just made me think a little different. And I was getting signs from other things too. Like if I cross paths with like a 50 Cent or somebody else who came before me, right? And they'll pull me in and be like, come here, young, let me talk to you real quick or whatever. And we'll have a conversation about perspective or about being, not being too busy to do the small things that you're going to appreciate being able to do later on or stuff like that. Just yielding to that.
What are the small things that they would be talking about?
So David Banner taught me one time. He said, I remember I used to get so overwhelmed with like bookkeeping and doing all this other stuff. I'm like 22. I'm in my bag right now. I got 7 songs on the radio. I'm like, man, I don't want to do no bookkeeping. I'm not trying to go write no checks and figure out what, you know what I'm saying? But he had this little book that he carried around and he was like, I think he paid me to do a hook or something. I ain't charge him nothing crazy. It was just like some, family to family type thing or whatever. But he wanted to give me some money for it. So he pulled out this book and in the book, I saw like all these little lines. He was like, you know why I carry this book around? I was like, why? He was like, because if I keep track of every dollar that's being spent, I know where every dollar that I'm ever spending, whether it's given to my mom, my brother, my cousin, sister, business, whatever, I know where it is. So I can never say that I'm not in control or don't know what's going on. I'm responsible for what's going on. Yeah. So I was like, okay, I understand that perspective. It's just something that may not have necessarily registered right then, but within a year or so, when it came time, I'm like, damn, who told me that? Oh, this is what he meant when you know what I mean? So I'm just grateful for those times.
Who are some of the men in the industry that have really been like mentors, if you have any?
Honestly, it's been a lot of different people that sometimes it's not even people that I'm familiar with. Like sometimes we can just have a conversation and from that conversation, whether it be 30 minutes or an hour or just throughout the day for what we're doing or whatever, like I usually, because I'm so discerned and I'm so able to like yield, like I was saying, I'm really coming in from a perspective whether I'm talking or not and learning something. I love to learn, you know what I'm saying? So I'm never coming in thinking I'm knowing everything or whatever. I want to take advantage of the time and not be possessive of the person, if that makes sense. You get what I'm saying? So to answer your question, it would probably be my agent now. I got an agent. His name's Mingo. Mingo is going on 50 this year, I think. But he has like a whole bunch of investment opportunities. He doesn't have an Instagram or social media or none of that stuff. So he's very grounded and locked into what he's doing right then and there and just carrying things with delicacy, whatever that may be. You know what I'm saying? So I learned a lot from being around him and then even being on the road a lot. And then I think I went to go stay with him for like a week while we did a run in Dallas or something like that and seeing how tidy his place is. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, okay, mine don't always look like that. It might I might have to come in and fly, you know what I mean, and get my stuff together or whatever the case may be. But just learning how to just be observant and utilize the gifts that you have, even though they may not seem like they need to be utilized in this point, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So you talked about who your mentors were. Who are some people that maybe you don't know, Black men specifically in the industry, that you look up to?
Andre 3000 is like my favorite person.
And honestly. Why is that?
For a lot of different reasons, honestly. Like to me, it's about I'm an intellectual person. So hearing what he's talking about and even how you can take a break after being at the pinnacle of something, right? Like going diamond for an album, putting on for where you're from, really grinding it out from start to finish, having friends that you started with, being able to respect them enough to be able to do something separate while still coming together. There's a lot of different perspectives. Switching and taking a break from that, going to play the flute, you walking around in the same clothes and just being free. Like sometimes I do that. I went and got a haircut yesterday because I knew I had an interview, but sometimes I like get in caveman mode and it's cool because it's comfortable and allows me to be my purest version of myself. You know what I mean? So like, I just admire that. I just admire being free in your own skin and also being able to like evolve and not be so possessive over where you are. Like I'm not the accolades that I've achieved. You get what I'm saying? I'm the person that achieved those things and gained those accolades. You get what I'm saying? So like just understanding how to order your steps and be open to all perspectives.
Is it frustrating when people try to keep you in the same box that you were in a long time ago?
Yeah.
Why do you think it's hard for people to like see people evolve and change?
I think people become, so I think there's two types of selfish, right? Let's put it like this.
Okay.
I feel like there's two types of selfish. The right type of selfish would be self-acknowledgement, holding yourself responsible or accountable for things, taking self-care days to be able to manage your fatigue, your bandwidth, all these things. That's the right type of selfish, right?
Yeah.
The wrong type of selfish would be, I really like when you wear cream turtlenecks. Could you go put on a cream turtleneck when we go out today to go do this, that? I'm worried about what I want and not how you may feel about doing whatever it is that you're doing or what it takes to get dressed to put that turtleneck on. And you know what I'm saying? Like finding something to match with it, or if it's cold today, or maybe I'm hot and my hands gonna sweat when I get hot. You know what I mean? Like whatever it is that can be small things that another person's not thinking about. Yeah. So I always put that in perspective, even down to like, when you're walking past somebody, right, on the street, and you say, what's up to them, you in a good mood today. And you're like, oh, what's up? Or how you doing? And they don't speak to you. And you're like, fuck y'all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. But at the same time, that person could be going through something and just be absent-minded. Their mom could have passed away today. They could have lost their best friend. They could be trying to figure out how to get this $1,000 they need to pay. You know what I'm saying? So like they may just not be there at that particular moment. So it's just about perspective. But you can't take those words back that you said under your breath when you walk. You see what I'm saying? So like that energy's already out there. It's too late to acknowledge that at that point. You know what I mean? So I just try to really play things back and just kind of, you can't keep doing the same thing expecting different results. So if you ever end up getting stuck, it's always a karmic thing. So whether it's something that you did or something that somebody else did on your behalf or whatever the case may be, somebody, whether it's you or your child or your little sister or whatever, has to catch that energy or at least some of it. You know what I mean? So last thing, not to get long-winded on this, is I had a conversation last week about I'm a visionary for others, right? So I often see things and before other people do for themselves. And I become emotionally attached in a way of like wanting the best for them, right? Yeah. So my brother was talking to me and he was like, man, I really hate that you do this, because he's like, what I learned is that sometimes we'll want something for somebody and God will be teaching them something. You feel what I'm saying? But because we're like, oh no, you really should just do this, or you end up shielding them from that. And God like, okay, you want to get in the way of that shit? I'm gonna give you some too. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you end up catching something that was really for somebody else. Yeah. So I had to like adopt that too. You know what I mean? And stop taking on other people's energy or whatever. My bandwidth depleted, I'm out of there.
Yeah. How did you, do you feel like you still struggle with that? Because that 100%. Is hard.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard every day. But we can only get better by playing a better opponent, right? And most of the time that opponent is ourselves. So you got to be able to get out your own way to be able to evolve, in my opinion.
Yeah. Now, you said that sometimes you get in caveman mode. What are you doing when you're in caveman mode?
I don't know. It just depends on how I'm feeling, honestly.
The last time you were in caveman mode, what were you doing?
Playing basketball, recording records, just doing things that make me feel like myself, make me feel like the kid. I'm pleasing the kid inside, I guess. And that kid didn't like to go get haircuts on Fridays or Saturdays and sit in the barbershop for however long. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'd rather go outside.
Wait, sit in the barbershop for hours?
Yeah, on Saturdays. You ever been to the barbershop? Oh, that's right, because the men be having to do that. Yeah. Let me tell you, it's terrible. It could be
because I would think you're in there for no more than an hour. You getting your haircut.
Yeah, but sometimes it's people talking. They doing other stuff. It's like 8 people in front of you. It's bad. Like
y'all have appointments.
Yeah, the appointments don't matter though. That's just keeping the spot in line. That's like calling next at a basketball court or something like that.
I didn't realize we were all fighting the same fight that happens with us. They
want
you to give them
perspective. You see what I'm saying?
You got to do a credit application. So you got to pay a $3,000 deposit. Give them your left pinky toe, and when you get there, they're gonna be like, "Hey, boo, I'm running late, and I'm gonna charge you extra because I'm late."
That's crazy, right?
It's aggravating.
You see what I'm saying?
It's smooth. It's rough.
What if you really got somewhere to be and you booked that little appointment time because that's the only time you could do that to get to where you need to get to?
Now they're saying if you have something else to do, don't book.
That's crazy.
I know, right? Like, are you kidding me? I could go on and on about that. I'm trying to get braids right now, so it's a struggle. As you can see, I don't have them yet.
That's funny. As you can see, it's crazy.
Yeah. Now, when you are making music now, what is important to you in your music today?
Substance. And a vibe. Like if I can't, anybody who's been in the studio with me knows, like I'm gonna know in the first like 5 to 10 seconds if I like this song or not. And most of the time, if I do, I've already got a melody or some type of something, and I'm also listening for what other people what their input is too. You know what I mean? So lately I've been working with Drummer Boy a lot. We probably cut I think last week I had 2 days in with him. We did like 12 records.
Oh, wow.
But it's because the chemistry's already there, right? And so it's not just, Roscoe, what type of vibe you on today? Sometimes I'm asking him, like, what you excited about that you made that you like, oh, this shit hard. Like, I want to see what comes from this. You know what I'm saying? Like, play that. Or play the different stuff that's different. So we're not doing stuff that's like no hands or nothing like that consistently. Sometimes it's like something that could be for SZA or something that could be for Chris Brown or something. I got records, like, it's crazy the amount of stuff we've been able to put together just from being open like that.
And how have you found people have been receiving your music as of late?
Oh, it's been a vibe. And I think I did a shout out to CC. CC put together this For Shooters Only Unplugged thing. Shout out to For Shooters Only too. really turned me back up, I think, in the capacity of just reminding people, you know what I'm saying, of the good times that we had together, whether it be in person or whether it be through the music or whatever the case may be. And that really just put the battery in my back for people to really remember and be like, you know what, where has he been at? Like, you know what, he was doing this, that, and the third. And so now I just take that same charisma that came from those records and I implement a little bit of those old ad-libs and a little bit of the old oohs and all that other stuff like that, the ooh yeah yeahs, all that stuff. And I put some new stuff on top of it.
Yeah. Were you scared?
Nah.
To let out a new sound?
Nah, because at the end of the day, I feel like I was scared the first time. Like when I had Turned Up, I knew Turned Up was a hit. But I was scared to let anybody hear it because I was scared people was gonna steal it. I didn't have the resources to be able to make it go where it wanted to go. I didn't know what to do with it. You know what I'm saying? I recorded this, a 17-year-old kid that recorded this in his mama's basement with some U-Haul blankets on the wall and a washcloth around the microphone, rubber band on there through all, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I really didn't know what I was doing. I just know I love music. And God gave me the opportunity to be able to fall into the right places and do the right things. And I remember times when I was taking my mama's car and driving all the way across town somewhere on a learner's permit, bro, trying to, like, for real, like trying to make it happen, or burning 300 Memorex CDs off a little spool of CDs you can go buy from CVS every day on a Dell desktop computer. You know what I'm saying? So like when you really commit to the faith and you're grounded in what you do and you understand your purpose and you got a good relationship with God, like you just gonna follow you just gonna know to get up and just go do this. Or you know what? I feel like going to this place today, and it's gonna just fall in your lap.
Did you always have like a good foundation and a good relationship with God, or is that something that came later?
But you know, just like everybody else, I feel like we go through ups and downs, just like we do with everything else, right? So I grew up in a church. My grandmother, or my great grandmother, was a pastor, and so we were in church like 4 days a week, and I hated being in church like that. But I understood. I still haven't read the Bible front to back, but I know all the stories that's in the Bible. I understand the perspective of what's going on. You know what I'm saying? So like, I think it's just about that. Like church is when two people or more gather and talk to God or whatever the case may be. But sometimes that person can be you and God, your higher self and God. You don't have to have all the other stuff that's going on. You don't have to go to the building and go sit there and listen to 30 minutes of praise and worship trying to stay awake before you get the message. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like respectfully, like I'm just saying there's other ways to get it too. You know what I'm saying? So I think just being grounded in that and walking in your faith is what usually does the trick.
Now, your friends and people that you worked with when you were younger, do you still have relationships with them, or do you find that you've grown apart from a lot of the people in your younger days? I know I probably got 3 or 4 friends from college.
It's like hit or miss. Like, don't get me wrong, me and my friends are still friends. But I think that we understand, at least the ones that are mature enough to like meet me where I'm at, which is really what it takes to be my friend nowadays. You know what I'm saying? They get it. And we kind of all grew together. Rule number 1 has always been know your people. So whether we're tight like that now or we were just tight like that back then, you know why it's not like that no more, whatever that case may be. And I'm still gonna dap you up or whatever when I see you. We just can't rock in this capacity no more. You can't get the free ride no more. You know what I'm saying? So like that's just what it is. And I'm cool with that, whatever that means. You know what I mean?
Did you have a lot of friends who was trying to like freeload off of you?
I won't call them freeloaders necessarily. At one point I had a few people that were traveling with. I ain't gonna lie. At one point it was like everybody wanted to come. But I think that's because like I got on right after high school. And so the next time they saw me after I think I got kicked out of that high school actually for breaking up a fight. Real talk. I think I got kicked out for breaking up a fight.
Yeah.
And then the next time they saw me, I was on TV. And they were like, hold on.
Wait a minute.
Yeah. And so it was like, but it felt good to me too, because now the teachers that thought I wasn't going to do this or that, or was like, oh, he's a troublemaker, woo woo. And I'm really just a kid that ain't have a dad in his house. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, it could be, again, it goes back to perspective. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, God is just fire, bro. I be telling him that all the time. Like, dog, you were going nuts. Like, it's crazy. I don't understand. But I'm just happy because no matter what you go through, we survived 100% of our worst days. And I think that in itself is a blessing and a reminder enough to just keep getting up and showing up. You know what I'm saying? So I just leave with that sometimes. When I don't know what to do, I just fall into that.
Yeah. Now, you said you grew up without your dad in the house. Was it a void that you could feel when you were a kid 100%. Or you realized it later?
Both.
Okay. But what did you think of when you were a kid?
When I was a kid, I think I was more like, you know, well, you don't know this, but my mom and my older brother who were in the house with me, and again, my brother was 10 years older than me, they are like jokesters. We're from the South. We got like a really good sense of humor and stuff like that. So they would pick on me sometimes about like the stuff that my dad would wear or whatever. Like, your dad got 80 gold chains on and he wanted da-da-da, like stuff like that. And it would make me upset when I was a kid, right? And it would be other things too, like, oh, he's gonna go spend the money on this before he spend the money on this type of thing. And it may have taken me getting older to get to 30, 32, whatever, to be able to understand that. Because at that time, a kid just want to be around his dad. He want to see where he come from. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And be able to get those things. that he's supposed to get from his dad or whatever. So I definitely felt the void there, but I didn't allow that to pin me down into a place of like making excuses for it. You know what I mean? Or making excuses for the decisions I was making from how I was feeling on the inside. Whatever that came with, if it was getting kicked out of school, going to an alternative school, getting kicked out of that school, and then going back to whatever that was, I just took it on the chin. And the people who were showing up for me through those junctures are the people who really kind of spearheaded me being who I am today, whether that be my mom, my grandmother, or my great-grandmother's friend, or whoever was watching me because I was kicked out of school. Like, they really poured into me at the same time. And that's why I speak so well now. That's why I'm so wise and discerned and all this other stuff, because I listened, whether I wanted to listen and hear it right then or play it back later on when I was going through the next situation from not getting the first situation.
You might not apply the teachings, but you
feel
were
me?
listening.
Tight.
So
exactly.
eventually. Okay, and then as an adult, what did you learn or what did you realize? I didn't even realize I was missing this, but I was.
I think when I started having multiple bad relationships back to back, I'm just like, damn, why I keep like this? But I realized it's because I'm picking. Like, and it ain't for me to pick. You feel me? Like, if I'm picking based off of where I'm at today. So if that's, pixie cuts are really in right now. I really love, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm thinking off of like, not just off appearance, but you get what I'm saying? Like, whatever the thing is right now, how I'm feeling, I'm going off of that, when really the person I may end up with may be something completely so far removed from where I'm at today. I always say the unfathomable blessings are the best ones. And that's why I say that, because sometimes you don't know what you need. You know what I'm saying? Like, who do we think we are, bro? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't know, bro. You feel me?
Every time I try to pick my type, I was wrong.
Exactly. But you know
wrong
what?
And crying.
Or we get anxiety about something, or we're tripping and we're tricking ourselves out of our spot in a relationship or whatever, right? And then we gotta look back and be like, dang, I'm not even an insecure person. So why am I behaving this way or whatever?
Is this person?
You feel me? And another version of you shows up, right? But that's because anxiety is the fear of not knowing. But faith and fear can't occupy the same space. You see what I'm saying? So you can't say I'm a believer, and then you over here trying to do stuff like, let me check his Instagram to see if he's, you know, so you can't do that, bro. Like, like, that's what I'm saying. So I had to just learn that and be able to match your steps with what you're saying type. You know what I mean? So
it comes, there's some wisdom that comes with age.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now,
if you're paying attention, right? Otherwise you're going to repeat that class just like in any other situation.
Over and over.
100%.
It's giving remedial
100%.
stuff. Now, speaking of these bad relationships, I want to talk about your love life.
Let's do it. Come on.
So where are you now? Are you single?
Single as a Pringle, baby. I'm single as a Pringle.
Are you single and happy? Are you single and sad?
Nah, I'm not sad. I'm never sad about it. Because I understand, like, again, it goes back to the possessiveness thing, right? Like, we don't own anybody. We don't even own our kids. Like, our kids are our kids, but they're not our possession. You feel what I'm saying? So like, they're young human beings that we get the opportunity out the decisions that we made to be able to support this human being and decisions that they want to make growing up. You see what I'm saying? It's not, they didn't ask to come here.
Sure did.
You feel what I'm saying? So like, and I was that kid at one point. So when my mom was yelling at me, I'm like, I ain't even asked for this shit. Like, you made me. So they'll take that up with my dad or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I treat all relationships the same way. I treat it like, I'm going to enjoy the time that we have together and what we share or whatever that may be. And if the foundation is strong enough or unique enough or whatever the case may be, we're always going to come back and water that grass at some point. You feel what I'm saying? Like, it's not going to change because you moved to California and I moved to Maine. Like, it's going to still be the same no matter how far the distance is. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. When those relationships were bad and you said you were picking wrong and all of that, what kind of women were you picking?
I was praying them away too. God, please remove her. I don't ever want to see her again as long as I live. Please.
Why did you have to pray them away? Why wouldn't you just tell them, I don't want to be with you?
It's been rough, boy.
What was going on? What kind of decisions were you making?
I just be wanting to, like, I don't know. I'm cool with standing on my own too, whatever that means, right? So like, if we going somewhere, we taking a trip, you want to move to California, let's go. Let's go do what we're doing. Like, I'm
very
that
spontaneous.
Yes, very.
Oof.
Yeah, but it's not aimless though.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So it has to have some substance to it. It has to make sense. At this juncture now, I know that. But one time I ended up in like Arizona. It was the worst relationship.
Arizona?
I don't know how.
Now, what was the purpose of being in Arizona?
Well, I really wanted to go to California to finish this album that I was doing.
Okay, so that's on the way.
So we landed there, but that's what I'm saying. Sometimes relationships will pull you so far off of what you were aiming to do. Yeah. It'll miscue your whole trajectory. Like, how do I end up here and I'm supposed to be over there? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
I don't even think of music when I think of Arizona. I think of the desert and yoga.
And I found that out when I got there because I'm like, oh, there is nobody here that does music. Like, that makes sense. But I think I was just trying to find a studio in LA was so crazy at the time and I could still drive there. It's only like 5 or 6 hours or something. It's like going to Myrtle Beach or something like that. So I was like, I'll just drive, and you get the cost of living way cheaper, so you ain't paying $3,000 for a 2-bedroom or whatever. Like I got a 4-bedroom house with a pool for $1,875. I'm gonna rent this for a year, and I'm gonna just drive my ass through LA when I want to go. You know what I'm saying? And it's cool.
Yeah.
But the love life part of it is what took me somewhere else.
Now, where did it take you?
To jail, actually.
Oh, Lord.
But not because I did anything. Like it wasn't.
Now, how did
like
you
that.
end up in jail?
Because I'm just dealing with the wrong
tumultuous.
people, man. Like that's what I'm saying. Like I'm just dealing with the wrong.
What kind
folks,
of jail
bro.
was this? Like
DJ.
you got to tell us, what did you do,
Like,
and how did you get out
tried
of
to
there?
save somebody from doing something stupid.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
And then that's even worse because you was just trying to help, and you end up in the clinker. Were you scared?
Nah, it wasn't my first time being there. I was just thinking to myself, like, man, I ain't been in jail in like 8 years, bro. This is crazy. Like, this is wild. And I'm thinking that in the holding cell, I'm like, man, this is why you don't do this type of shit. Like, this is why you got.
How long were you there?
Maybe like a week or so.
A week?
God,
You said that
I'm
like
in
that's
Arizona.
not a lot
Like,
of time.
it was a long time. 2 hours in there is a long time. You ever been in jail? 2 hours is 30 minutes is a long time.
You don't want. That's not somewhere anybody wants to.
And this
be.
is like the second worst jail in the United States. Like this is like anybody who knows.
Where
about
were
Arizona
you at?
prisons,
You were in Arizona?
In the towers. Yeah, I was at the towers.
Oh dear. I wonder if I've seen that on
Maricopa County, boy, don't play around. Maricopa.
Oh dear. Well, I'm glad you made it out of there.
Yeah, we made it out, and I brought my ass right back to Atlanta immediately too.
I know that's right. So after that, I take it that was a pivotal moment in your life.
Super pivotal. Yeah. But again, it's about overextending, right? Like I said, I was trying to save somebody else from doing something crazy. So to me, it's about staying grounded in what you're supposed to be doing. A lot of things I tell people all the time now. The devil will give you shit too, bro. So don't miscue the blessings, like, because the devil will give it to you too and make it look way better than what it's going to look like coming from the other side. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sometimes. So you got to just stay, again, faith and fear can't occupy the same space. You don't got to be in the front to lead all the time.
And people are always talking about people making deals with the devil, especially in this music and entertainment industry, you know? It's something. It's a sick, sad world out there.
It is.
So today, in your life where you are, you've done all this growing, you're way more mature, you're not overextending yourself, you got a good foundation. What are you looking for? Or what are you open to if you're not
I'm open to wherever. Listen, at this point, I just go where I'm called to go. I be where I'm called to be. I do what I'm called to do, whatever that is, right? If I was looking for anything, it's just confirmation that I'm doing the right thing. That's all I'm looking for, and peace in doing so. Because it's not, like I said, sometimes it's going to get a little hectic. Sometimes it's not going to be conventional. You know what I'm saying? Like most things that are for you aren't conventional, right? So understanding that, it's just about replenishing your bandwidth when it gets low, but still being able to do the things that will deplete your bandwidth, because the challenging things are the things that need to, you know what I'm saying, need to get done, or whatever the case may be. So just focusing on that, I think, and following my anomaly and just staying close with the big man, I'm good.
You know, I think that when you have a good, like, spiritual foundation, it's easier to, like, have confidence in yourself, right?
100%.
You got some help there. Have you always been confident?
Yeah, I think so. At least it may not have been as confident, but I've always been confident, even in not being confident, if that makes sense. Like sometimes I just do stuff and I'll be like you ever like, it's gonna sound funny, but you ever like done something? Like it could be, for lack of better words, I'm just gonna say, like, it could be shooting a basketball or shooting a piece of paper in a trash can or something. And you may not know how you made this shot, but in your mind, you like, hey, yeah, I be doing shit like that all the time. That's what I be on. Like, so sometimes those are your confirmations, right? That you're capable. And then being capable, all you gotta do is just sharpen the things that you already think about that you want to be able to do or whatever, and then go do them.
When we were talking earlier though, and you were talking about how like sometimes you show up and you are a different version of yourself. And it's like, why I'm doing the wrong thing because this is not the version of myself 100%. That I should be.
100%.
What was going on in your life in those times?
I think, okay, so like, let's put it like this. Have you ever been trying to get a point across to somebody? Let's say, okay, I'm sure you've had some bad relationships too, right? We all have. So you ever been like talking to somebody about something and they did wrong for something they did, right? But you might have slipped up in expressing yourself and called them something.
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
Right. So now, even though you right about what you're saying, because you called them something, they only gonna hold on to what you said to them. You see what I'm saying?
All
the rest of the valid stuff you said is out the window, and you wasted your breath. So it's been a couple times like that, and I'm like, damn, I shouldn't have called her that.
Yeah.
Damn, I shouldn't have said that. I should have just made her stick with it, and I should have made her have to open this text message thread the next time she want to text me and scroll up and look at all the stuff she just said. Yeah. And I ain't gotta, you know what I'm saying? Like that should be a lesson in itself. And if you can't adjust or come in different than where you just left at, I'm good.
Have you ever had your confidence attached to like how well you were doing in life, career-wise?
I wouldn't say career. Well, okay. I could say that, I guess. I could say that. I understand where you're coming from. I could say that because sometimes we all have our slow moments, right? Like we all have moments there where you're not as booked but those to me are the times when you're supposed to be doing something else. So sometimes when you ain't supposed to be doing nothing, God will sit you still for a minute and you got to just figure out what that's like. You know what I'm saying? And you got to feel that to know what it's like to be in that situation to recognize it the next time it comes. So I look at it like you always have what you need. So it's just like if, I don't know, we spilled something or whatever, and then it's like, dang, all right, I wish we had this, that, or third, because it's really in the shot right now. And then I go and look at my book bag that I brought in here that I don't even know why I carried from my trunk, and it's a Tide pen in there or something. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it's like that in life, and we just got to slow down and get out of the anxiety space to look around and see what's around us that's already been placed there. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I can say like, in times in my life when things weren't going right with my career and I was trying to date, I should have just left all that alone.
Yeah.
I was making horrible decisions.
Or just been transparent in what you were coming for in that juncture, whatever that was. If that's peace, if that's some other stuff, if somebody companionship to go get some drinks with or to do the other stuff with.
I shouldn't have been going to get drinks.
Just be transparent. That's what I'm saying. So you got to sometimes it's just about recognizing what we're here for, right? And acknowledging that and being, sometimes the most important conversations to me, honestly, outside of the ones you have with God is the ones you have with yourself in the mirror. And you should walk by the mirror every day and tell yourself you fine too. Like you should just be on that. Like,
yeah. And I think I was like avoiding that. I was trying to hang out. I wanted to go on dates. I wanted to hang out with my friends. I wanted to be at the club.
What do you think made you want to do that? What do you think
Because I was running from myself. I was running from the things that I needed to deal with. I was running from, okay, you want to do this and you say you want to do this and it's not working. So now you find yourself getting frustrated because you're not seeing success. So you want to do something else to drown that out instead of just staying on it.
All right. So look, not to interject, but
go ahead.
We can pray for things, right? You can't control how they come too. But what you just said just now is, I wanted it to be like this. I wanted it to happen this way. I wanted this. I wanted it to, you know what I'm saying? So like,
and I had to stop.
That's what I meant by the entitlement thing I said earlier. And we got to check ourselves on that. That's why I said you got to get out your own way. That voice in your head sometimes got to shut up. Like you got to tell them to get out the way real quick. Like it ain't about us. You see what I'm saying?
You can block your own blessings.
Most people do. You'd be surprised. Most people do.
And when I did stop, things changed.
Fall right in your lap. You like, dang, it's crazy. It's left and right.
It's like, those nights in the club, I was so drunk, I don't even remember them. It wasn't worth it. I should have sat down. But you know, hindsight is 20/20.
That's right.
And it's all right to keep going.
You live and you learn. Yep. That's true.
Yeah. Now, children. Do you have children?
3.
3? Whew, that's a
Daughters,
lot.
too. Yep.
All daughters. How old are they?
5, 12, and 18.
Ooh, that's a big range. Do they come to you?
I'm at the range right now too, and I'm just like, boy, I'm staying in the house, boy. Cause it's like coming around that time, they all like 5, 6 years apart. I'm like, nah, bro, it's time to go sit down.
What have they taught you about love?
That love is unconditional and love loves to love no matter what. So I could be having the worst day when I come in the house, none of that stuff matters. Cause they happy to see daddy. They wanna, you know what I'm saying? Whatever that is.
Yeah.
So you got to show up for them. And again, they didn't ask to be here. So you can't carry what you're dealing with from the rest of the world and bring it in here with these kids who are pure, the purest version of themselves, especially my 5-year-old. Like she's the purest version. Yeah. So like she's in her bag right now, literally. And the more we sit, even down to like, I watched this movie, this is off topic, but it makes so much sense. Like I watched this movie called Everything Everywhere All at Once. I don't know if y'all seen this.
Yes.
Okay. Boom. But this movie almost made me cry, bro, because it was like, bro, it's so deep, but it's because I just be thinking, I'm like, dang, I've been messing up this whole time. Remember when they sat down at the desk and they made her swap her shoes? What if how many times you done told a kid or heard a kid being told, put your shoes on the right feet? So what if we've been doing it wrong the whole time? What if somebody just made the shoes this way to make people think that they're supposed to be like this one, really is supposed to be the other way? Yeah. And we over here beating that in their head because of what we know to be conventional and the way it's supposed to be. When in all actuality, they're the better versions of us. You see what I'm saying? So I was like, dang, that's deep, dog. Like that's deep to like, force somebody who didn't ask to be here to do something a specific way based off of the traditional way of thinking from what we come from. When as we grow older with our parents, we like, no, that's the dated way, mom and dad, we're doing
things
it this
are constantly changing.
But we can't accept that
learning.
when you see what I'm saying? So it just made me be like, dang, that's really crazy. So now I just been letting my kids do whatever, like, and I just support them in doing it.
Tonight.
Yeah, it's deep.
Yeah. Now, okay, so I'm sure baby girl, 5-year-old is not dating, but the 18-year-old one.
Man. And my 12-year-old too, she's trying to get in there too. I'm like, bro, just be tight, dog. It's gonna, like, people are gonna like you because you're tight, dog. You're cool. Like you're a nice looking girl. You smart. You got all this stuff. You're creative. You got a great personality. People are supposed to like you. That don't mean you gotta date somebody because somebody like you. Find out what you like about them and what they bring to the table. Are they holding the door for you, or are they carrying your book bag because you got 80 books and they make y'all carry too much stuff anyway? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are they doing for you that's making you be like, I like this person outside of what they look like? Because daddy can tell you, okay, this is how you got here. Everything that look good is not what you're supposed to be doing. You feel what I'm saying?
True.
So, yeah.
Does your oldest daughter, does she come to you for advice, and does she listen?
She's actually, she surprises me all the time. I'm not gonna
really
lie. Like I feel like I'm doing the right thing or did do the right thing, even in the moments that may not have been the best decisions for us or for me or whatever the case may be. Like just talking to her now and hearing how composed she is. She's doing half days right now in her last year of school. She wants to be an engineer. She wants to go to either Harvard or Howard. I'm sorry, or
that's where I went.
It's like she's really. I
hope
on
she
top
goes to
of
Howard.
Yeah, I've been telling her that too.
Yeah,
but just like she's just fired, like, and it just be making me be like, yo, this is cool.
I did good.
Yeah. It's
so
cool.
what do you hope that they avoid when it comes to love as they continue to grow up, or like lessons that maybe you had to learn the hard way and you just hope they don't have to learn the hard way too?
I would just hope that they understand that life is going to be challenging. And that's why we're going through all the stuff we go through or have gone through up until this point. That's been hard. Again, we survived 100% of our worst days. So like that's building you up to the things that are going to continuously get hard or be whatever else. But as long as you're intentional with your energy and you show up and get on the horse every day, which is always what I teach them, and just being strong and confident in themselves, you'll be able to overcome whatever it is that you come across. So to me, the thing that I hope that they don't do is fall victim or become susceptible to what's going on around them versus like what they know is going on the inside of them. If that makes sense.
That peer pressure can be something
It's bad too. And you got to think of how crazy society is. Like society will make you think, look at what it's done to the adults. So imagine what it's going to do to the kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I just be wanting them to be in the best situation possible and know that they got the support if it ever does become overwhelming.
Yeah, I have nieces, 3 of them. They are
all right, TT.
15, 11, and 5.
Yeah.
And so they were here visiting me a couple weeks ago, and it was interesting to me. Like, I love seeing their personalities develop, but it's kind of sad and scary to me. The older 2, as they get older, I see how much they care about what other people think. And they're scared to do certain things. They're scared to be silly like they used to be.
Where are they from, if you don't mind me asking?
They live in Texas.
Okay.
And so they're on their tablets, on their iPads, on their phones and stuff. And I'm like, y'all can't be worried about that. Like, what do you like? Don't worry about what your friends think.
That's funny that you say that. I told my daughter that the other day too. I was like, yo, what do you want to do when you get older? She's like, my job changes every day. And I'm like, that's good though. But it's not about the job. Like, what do you like? Enjoy doing? And just focus on wanting to do that. Whatever that is. If it's painting, I can't wait till I get older and I can start painting bigger paintings. Like, think like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wanted to do music. I didn't say I wanted to be a rapper or an artist. I just said I want to do music. That could have been a producer. That could have been I don't care. As long as I was able to do it, I just wanted to do it. You know what I'm saying? And so God put me in a position to be able to do all of that shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so on both sides of it, writing for people, doing this, doing that, or whatever. So I think it's just about focusing on the things that make you feel good. You know what I mean? Or that really restore your bandwidth or refill your cup. You know what I'm saying? And just keep focusing on that. Yeah. Try to evolve on that, expand on that thought.
They like, the older 2 really like creative stuff. The youngest one, she just thinks her sisters are the coolest and wants to be like them.
That's good because she's inspired, right? And it has to start somewhere. To me, that's one of the biggest things, is just staying inspired. Yeah. So what I was going to say too, the reason why I asked where they're from is because when I spend time with my nephew's from Thibodaux, Louisiana. Okay. Really small space in Louisiana. And so the thing that I love about talking to him, shout out to nephew, is he understands. He's 16 and he's gone through getting in trouble and doing other things too, but he understands that he's so much bigger than where he's at. He's like, man, I can't wait to turn 18. The first thing I'm gonna do is leave and go over here and do this, that. You know what I'm saying? He's already thinking about that. Yeah. And so to me, I think for kids, it's about showing them things. So when we were younger, we got to take those occasional trips to whatever the theme park was, or to go to their cousin's house and we'd take a road trip to drive. You know what I mean? We got to experience what different things look like, even if it's down to, for him in his dating phase, seeing girls in other places outside of where he at. So you don't end up with just what's up the street. You see what I'm saying? Like, you could see what some other stuff look like, and maybe that'll hold you off to be like, no, I want that right there. I need the Porsche.
You gotta expand that worldview.
Yeah, you feel me? So I love that about having conversations with him. And in turn, because we have those types of conversations, he gives that to my 12-year-old. He'll talk to her about stuff. She called him and be like, I like this boy. And then he turned around and liked this girl and didn't do that. And she's like, man, don't even worry about that because boys don't even know what we like right now. When I was 13, I was just doing stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying?
They're not even bathing good yet.
Yeah, for sure. So just chill, like relax.
You don't even want him.
Yeah.
I remember being a kid. So I'm from Louisiana, from Natchitoches.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So I'm from Natchitoches. And so I lived there and I lived in Texas. And I remember like I had some friends who got to leave and go other places. And I got to leave and go other places. I have family who lived other places. And then there were some people, whole life is in Natchitoches. And both sides of my family are from there. And sometimes I'll be sitting back and thinking like, y'all all just stayed here, right? Like nothing wrong if you want to stay in your hometown and you love that. And they have their reasons. But I couldn't wait to leave. And even I left there and I went to Texas. I couldn't wait to leave Texas. I went to Howard.
See what I'm saying?
I enjoyed Howard, but I wanted to be back in the South. So that's how I ended up in Atlanta.
That's fire.
And I love it here, but I'm always telling people, hey, wherever you are, you don't have to be stuck.
No, for sure. That's what I was about to say.
Go somewhere else and try it out.
But to me, what I'm hearing is that you always understood that this is just a stepping stone. I'm experiencing this, but it doesn't have possession of me and I don't have possession of it. I'm going to just move on to the next thing. Whenever I feel like doing that, I'm not too tied down to where I can't get up and go make that step and jump off the porch tomorrow if I want to.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? I should be able, if I wanted to, I got a job, but I should be able to quit this job and be like, I ain't doing this no more and I'm packing up and I'm moving tomorrow if I want to do that. Exactly. And sometimes it takes doing that. Sometimes it literally, sometimes God just want to see that you're willing to just do it and not need the other stuff. Most people will be like, oh yeah, I want to do this, but I got to wait until I get this to do it, and you'll get some money, and guess what? Your bills or whatever is gonna eat all that money up that you tried to save,
and don't have
you're gonna
a car,
be right back. I'm telling you,
your car
bro,
gonna eat it up
every time because the money ain't for that. But because we think like, oh, I just got some money, I need to pay this, I need to do that, I need to da, right? Like it's a need thing when really it's not that at all. Sometimes it's about taking that same money that you got. For like, excuse my language, fuck these bills. I'm finna go start a business. You feel what I'm saying? This business gonna pay all my bills next month. So I might be behind for a month, but guess what? When I get the money to do it, I'm gonna have the money for this month, next month, and a month after that too.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully. Now, that's a dangerous plan, but I get your point. It's hard. Like when I moved out here, I packed everything up in my car.
But that's the equivalent. That's the same thing.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, I got somewhere to go. I got somewhere to stay. I'm gonna give myself a timeline to try to figure things out. But I would get a job. Work that job. If I couldn't do that, it was getting in the way of something else. I gotta quit that.
Do it. That's what I'm saying.
Else.
Well, most people wouldn't have the gall to do that, right? Like most people would be like, "Nah, I need this job because I gotta."
My parents were scared.
Yeah,
they were.
Somebody
had
to be.
I got a vision.
But sometimes that's all you need is for somebody else to be scared, so you don't have to be. You see what I'm saying? Like I'm going to go do this. I don't care.
Yeah, I'm like, it's fine. It's all gonna work out. It's all gonna work out. I have the skills. I have the things. I just need to be in the right place at the right time and make something shake.
Yeah.
Y'all don't have to believe in me. I believe in me. I know I'm on the right path. I'm telling you,
I remember they used to tell me turn the music off. Okay.
Really?
What? I'm thinking to myself in my mind.
I'm glad you did
now
not
I'm
listen.
thinking to myself like, imagine if I listened to y'all. Like I had to fight I'll never forget this. Me and my mom talk about this all the time. My brother used to fight me for that shit sometimes. Like,
really?
Swear to God, bro. Come downstairs because he's sleeping right above the room. And he'll be like tired or something. He's like, man, I told you turn the music off and come down there doing all this stuff or whatever. But I remember when I got my song on the radio for the first time finally, and I remember coming in the house after taking my mama car, like I said, all them times to go all these places, she getting on my ass about it, whatever. I was like, do you hear this? She was like, well, yeah, I hear it. What is that? I'm like, this is my song, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I'm on the radio. She's like, oh, that's crazy. I said, yeah, and y'all was telling me to turn this shit. Y'all wilding. Like, yeah. I know what I be doing sometimes. And sometimes the parent can't tell you what to do is what I'm saying. Like, sometimes you're like, you don't have possession of the person. You get what I'm saying? Like, you got to be able to just support that, whatever it is. My mama did an excellent job because when I was getting kicked out of school, she was showing up. Now, she might have been whooping my ass across the street and bringing me back, but she was showing up to come get me, though, and make sure that nobody else mishandled her kid. You see what I'm saying? So I'm just appreciative of all the things and the way that things happen, too, even in the mistakes, the way they happen or whatever the case may be, because it wouldn't have got me here. If I didn't do what I did, my kids wouldn't be here. If I didn't do, you know what I'm saying? Like it's a lot of different things. So even in the ups and downs of the relationships themselves, if the foundation is strong, it's just like a storm. Like the house gonna be all right tomorrow. You might have to pick some leaves and some branches up out the front yard, but you straight though.
I also was having a conversation. We had a creative meeting the other day and somehow we got off topic. We can all be a bit scatterbrained at times, but we were talking about like making mistakes and making bad choices and stuff. But it's like, I was sharing that if I never made those bad decisions and everything in my life went perfect, I think I would be a pretty horrible person.
Mm-hmm.
I would have no humility.
Mm-hmm.
I would not be as empathetic to other people. I wouldn't care as much because I would definitely think I knew everything. I had the answers.
Mm-hmm.
I had it right. And I hope that as people continue to live their lives, you make mistakes. Hey, don't keep making the same mistake.
Right.
But when you make the mistake, take a second and try to see what you can take from it.
100%.
Like, you need those experiences.
100%.
Could you imagine if every choice you made, it went like you thought it was going to go? How do you think you would be today?
Oh, nobody.
If everything went perfect.
Everybody would be wilding out. And I think it would be way worse than what it is now. Like, I think it would be like over the top because people would then become entitled and they would feel like they have, like you said, they feel like they have all the answers.
You. Like, if everything
me personally?
for you, yeah.
Oh yeah, I'd be wilding out. I'd be wilding.
I would probably be. I would be like a
I think we
villain.
need negative stuff sometimes, right? I heard this quote one time. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think Big Sean said this one time in an interview, and he was talking about distress to eustress. And basically, a distressful situation will push you to do something that you wouldn't have done had that situation not happened, but it leads to a positive outcome, right? So like, it could have been, I don't know, whatever made you move. It could have been attached to something negative, and then it pushes you to go move and do something else, and then going taking that step led to something positive. You know what I'm saying? But it's so surreal to me, and I should say it resonates so well because it's factual, like, in my opinion. Like, if I didn't get kicked out of school, I wouldn't have taken that extra time to go do the music, and then I wouldn't have had the extra, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't have went to another place because I couldn't stay at home because my mom had to go to work, and then I wouldn't have bumped into, see what I'm saying? So like, sometimes it doesn't have to be as extreme, but my point is just that sometimes we need those negatives because those negatives will create a positive for us sometimes if you go into the right form of perspective, right? Like, so I don't know. I'm open to a lot of different things. I'm an open book too. Again, I've been focusing on a lot of like transparency and vulnerability. So sometimes that takes just being honest with yourself. Like, it don't have to be somebody else. It's just you and God, just telling the truth. Like,
why do you think that sometimes when men are vulnerable, people look at it as a weakness?
We don't have a safe space. I ain't gonna lie. Like, we don't, for the last 4 or 5 years, I'll say, specifically, the safe space for men to be emotional and to be transparent in that has been shrinking, I believe. And it could be because of society, it could be because of just what's going on, I don't know. But like, it's definitely a thing. And in turn, like I said, everything has its karmic circle, so it's gonna get reciprocated, whether it's intentionally or indirectly, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, we're gonna get that back. So that's why there's been a lot of bumping heads between the sexes, between men and women, and even with girl on girl or guy on guy, whatever type of relationship we're talking about, it's been headbutting a lot for that reason, I think.
What makes you feel like you're in a safe place to share?
God, because at the end of the day, if you do me wrong and I'm keeping it a being, I'm just being my pure version of myself. That's between you and God. You got to worry about him. He don't play. You know what I'm saying? So I'd be like, cool, whatever that means. All I can do is control what I can control, and that's how I respond to things and what I'm giving out.
But when people, like, literally, when you're sitting with another person and talking, what can somebody do to help you feel comfortable to be vulnerable and know that it's okay?
Be the same.
Be consistent, like with how they always are with you.
Or just meeting me where I'm at. And I'm going to do the same, right? Like, we've been sitting here having a conversation. We talked about where we're from. We talked about our kids, aunties, all kind of other stuff, right? So we're in a comfortable space. It may not be as comfortable as a relationship would be, but it's a relationship nonetheless, right? Like, we're building it right now. We get off the camera. I'm like, dang, so how long you was living in Louisiana? We're going to talk about that type of stuff, right? So we're working on the foundation, whether we realize that or not. And I just think handling all things with delicacy like that is a good way to just pay everything forward, in a sense. Ain't no reason for nobody in this room to say nothing negative when I walk out this room. You see what I'm saying? Like, and as long as I keep it that way from my end, that anything that does come negative, that's between them and
God. Yeah. I guess, I didn't think about it, but consistency is a good way to help someone feel comfortable, because it's like you sit there and you talk with somebody and you open up, and then later they act different. And it's like, well, are you judging me because of what I shared last time we talked? And now I'm in my head. Or were
you just pretending to get it out of me? You see what I'm saying? Like, whatever that may be. Because there are some evil people out here. Questions. Yeah, there are some people out here who don't put that much effort into things. And those are the people who will copy the good morning text and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And not those. Like, if I'm getting to know somebody or something like that, I'm going to take the time. This may sound crazy, but I'm going to take the time to write down the facts about that person. If it's in their contact or whatever, like, I'm going to write down their birthday. They got a sibling of 1 of 4. They're a Taurus or whatever the case may be. They like to do that. I'm going to write those things down, because at the end of the day, you're sharing that with me. And it's not for me to let it go in one ear and out the other and then turn around and ask you something 6 months from now when I want to do something special for you. You feel what I'm saying? When you already gave me the information back then. If I cared enough, I'll be writing this down so I don't never have to ask. Now I have the element of surprise.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying?
I never wrote that down. Now wait a minute,
Free game now. That's free game.
It is. Free game. So what kind of dater are you?
Oh boy.
You
it
seem
just
like
depends.
you'd probably be really thoughtful.
Yeah, I'm fun too. I think I'm fun in real life. So it's just
fun like what?
Like whatever we doing that. Like it could be whatever. I have fun doing anything. We can go to a safari. We can go plane right over the city. We can do nothing. We can go bake popcorn and pizzas or some shit. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna have a good time enjoying the time. Like that's the beautiful thing about me, I think, is that like I just enjoy whatever it is I'm doing.
Do you think that a lot of guys stress out over planning dates and they are overthinking it? Because when I ask all the men that we've talked to, well, not all of them.
I know some guys who do
some
that
of these men, I'm just like, I literally asked somebody yesterday. He said he's so fine. He sounded like you at first. I'm so fine. I go on dates. I'm so fine. And then when I asked him what he did, you know what he told me? I spent a lot of money. But right before that, he had told us.
That's the worst answer you can give, bro.
Right before that, he said he didn't want to have 50-50 conversations and stuff like that. And I'm like, cool, because I'm not asking that. And so I was like, okay, well, that's fine. You spent money, but what did y'all do? What were the activities? And it took forever for him to get it out. And I'm like, I wonder if he had never really thought about what made his date fun, or if he was being honest, or like what happened.
Super. To me, that's like the I hate to say this because then it's gonna be a thing, bro. It's gonna be a thing now that I'm gonna say this.
But say it.
I really got a thing with like over masculine man, bro. I don't like over. I don't like. I'm like, why are you going so big to be alpha when you don't have to be that? Like you don't have to.
And that's not what alpha really is.
You don't have to be in the front to lead, bro. You know what I'm saying? So like to me, I'm more of like a chivalrous person. So like opening the door, creating a safe space, doing all these other things is gonna get you way more than trying to tell somebody what to do or being like, oh, I spend money, or oh, you don't have to do the 50-50 or whatever it is that make me feel like I'm the man. Like you don't have to be that. You can like, my perspective is different. Now, sometimes I don't be saying it the right way and be coming out crazy. So that's where I'm at right now. But you get where I'm going. Like, I just really got a thing about that because it's damaging the dating world for the men who aren't like that. You know what I'm saying? And it makes women feel like they got to be this or that, or they got to try a little harder in this department when really it should just be a safe space. And a woman is going to receive. One thing about a woman, I don't care how tough or how she speaks or carries herself or whatever, there's a soft spot in there, bro. And there's a way to get to it. And it's not by trying to overpower them when it comes to being, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't got to do that. If she feels safe, she gonna melt like butter, bro, every time. Promise. Guarantee. It don't matter what complexion, age, whatever, none of that stuff matter.
It doesn't. I try to tell them all the time, but they don't want to hear me. I'm like, listen, sometimes, I think that the women who you probably think are the hardest to please, it's not that they're the hardest to please. They just may have a tough exterior. Like
or just a bad track record, history-wise.
Yeah. And so it's just like, it's hard to be soft when you feel like the other person isn't making it safe to be soft. Right. They're performing. A lot of things are very performative. Like, okay, you say you're fine. I ask you, what's fun? You could name some things. Now, if you are listening to this or you're watching this or you're with somebody and you're thinking this applies to him, what is fun to you?
Right. And does he know that? Does that person know what you consider to be fun?
And if you don't know what's fun to you, you should just try and figure it out. There's lots of things to do. And I like to tell women too, date yourself.
Yes.
Go out and have fun.
But that's what I'm saying. Bump into people and go do things that you wouldn't normally do because you don't want to be scared. Like, if I was to say, hey, let's go skydiving tomorrow. You may not have ever, it may be something you want to do, right? That you thought about, but it's like, damn, now I really got to think about if I'm going to do this or not because he may be dead serious. Like, I'm going to pick you up tomorrow at 6, we're going to go do, you know what I mean? So like, but if you bump into somebody else and that may be going outside of your means to do these things, you get what I'm saying? Yeah. So that you can be ready whenever the time presents itself because we don't know who we're going to end up with. Again, God will show you, God will say, oh, she don't like this, that, or third. Take all the qualities that she need, go put it in a chunky white man and see what she do over there.
Oh my God,
you, bro.
I would be so sad. I would be so sad. I don't think God would do that to me.
Hey, man.
No, a chunky black man, okay. But
yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. She'd be like, you know what? We here. Take that shit and go put it in Steven and them over there.
Oh, Lord. I don't know what I would do. I'd be like, I don't know what the lesson is. This is not the last lesson.
Now you got to go against all the things. That's ego death, though, in a sense, right? Yeah. Because at the end of the day, when you go tell your friends, and they're like, oh, what you been doing, girl? We ain't seen you in 3 weeks because you been tucked in with this white man. You don't want to tell me that you've been tucked in. But he's doing all the right things, though, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's what I'm saying. Like,
and then you got to let that go, whatever you thought you wanted. Now, I've done that. It was not with no chunky white man, but I have done that. And it was like, okay, why was I so hung up on this?
You see what I'm saying? Exactly.
it wasn't even that fun when I look back on it. Everything I remember was stressful.
Yeah.
I'm not stressed anymore. Yeah, let go of those types sometimes, but it's still fun to talk about every now and again. We played a game yesterday, and I was telling the ladies about my type. That was fun, but as I thought about it on my drive home, I was like, yeah, I need to stay away from all
You see what
that.
I'm saying? Like, but those moments are the important ones, right? Because no matter what you said, and when it was said, you took the time to reflect on it and be like, you know what? I did that. Like I'm used to dating chicks that like, I've dated some chicks that's like up there. I've dated some chicks that's regular or whatever the case may be, right? And so to me, after my last couple of relationships, I'm like, man, I don't want what people think of the 10s and this, that, and third. My 10 has changed to something else. Like an 8 can be a 10 to me because of her mind and some other shit versus like what she looked like or whatever.
Your values change.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, okay. We're going to move on to the hot takes. And I want to get your hot take on these are light.
Okay.
Well, some of them are. Okay. I'll do a light one. The music, the hip hop era in the 2010s is way better than today's music. What's your hot take on?
Oh yeah, I take that all day long. Because it was more fun, it was more authentic. Like you can play a song from any of those years in the 2010s or whatever, and the whole club is gonna erupt and it's gonna be a fun time, whether it's K-Camp All Night or whether it's Michael Montana Do or Swags or whatever it is, right? Or even down to some Rocco or whoever, right? Yeah. You're gonna have a moment in there that's fun. Nowadays, it's not that music is bad at all, right? Like they're in a different space creatively, which is cool because we all had to get there. Remember, I came from pushing a piece of paper and a cassette tape, and my mixtapes weren't good at that point, right? Okay, so like, and I was rapping about something completely different, but I had to grow into that. You see what I'm saying? So like, that's why when I run into what people call the YNs that are making music now,
I just watched a reel about the YNs. I said, "What's the YNs?"
Yeah.
I said, "I'm an auntie for real."
Yeah. But I love the fact that I'm a bridge for them because I'm like in between the young and the old, so I'm able to like take those things and implement what's going to help them be on top of where they're at now early. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's go do something on the rhythmic side. If you doing, I don't know, whatever they're doing right now. Like, let's just take something and do something different. We got to shake it up early is what I'm saying. So, yeah.
Okay, and then the second one, and then we'll move on. Chasing fame can kill your creativity as a musician.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, 100%. If you're trying to fit in, that can usually kill your authenticity. Or even having the wrong people around that's too busy looking at what everybody else is doing. You know what I mean? Like everybody has their own plate, their own palette, their own whatever else, and it's for a reason, right? Like none of our stuff is the same. You get what I'm saying? So so we can experience things from a different light. To me, I learned this from Kanye. No one person can tell a story that will resonate with the masses. It has to come from a perspective of different people. Like us in this room right here, how many people, I can't turn around and look around, but if it's 5 or 6 of us in here, we can make a song that'll be able to resonate with more people than if I just did it myself, right? Even with me being who I am or whatever the case may be, I need the perspective of you might have went through something, you might have went through something, she might have went through something, and those things together, we talk about those things, and that's where the blood on the leaves comes from. That's where, you know what I'm saying? Like it takes that sometimes. I learned that from him, and it's really a really dope process that I feel like a lot of the younger people should start to get on now. Instead of waiting until song camps and all this other stuff to really spread your wings. Like start doing that stuff early. Talk to your peers. Talk to the people that then lost some friends too, just making these songs about spinning and all this other, like find a different perspective to view it from.
Well, good luck, y'all, out there making music. Y'all should listen to him, somebody who's done
or just tap in. Just hit me. Just hit me.
Okay, we're going to move on to the advice. I'm going to share a situation. It's got a question, and you give this person advice. It's a music one. Okay, so this person says, I'm a young man who's about to graduate college.
Okay.
My parents want me to go to a traditional 9-to-5 job. My heart is telling me to pursue the arts. I love making music. It is truly my passion. How do I pursue what I love, even if my family won't support me?
All right. So you sound like you got them parents that's just gonna be on your top no matter what you do. So if it was me, what I would do is, and I've done this actually, work the job for a little second. But when you working that job, You need to be taking some of that money, go start you an EIN, go get you a registered LLC, a DBA, whatever it is you want to do. Sole proprietorship, you figure it out, right? You got to be able to do two things at once when you're doing something you should be doing for this particular juncture and aiming for what you want to do. You got to be able to give a little bit and take a little bit. Everything takes balance. So to me, I would be getting my business stuff together, and then I'll turn around and figure out how to make that job turn my music career into something that can be my job and take care of me at that particular juncture. And it'll take care of all the other things that come with that too. Then now I'm able to write off my gas, so I ain't got to worry about that. Now I'm able to write off my electricity because I got a studio in my house. I'm able to write off a part of my rent because it's in the office space. I'm able to, you see what I'm saying? Like now I'm able to make these things work for me. And sometimes saving money is better than making it, honestly. So,
yeah. And it costs money to make music.
100%.
So, or whatever art form you want, you've gotta, like, whether you're renting studio time or buying the equipment to have it in your 100%. Place, you're gonna need some money. So, baby, you need to get a job.
And you need to get it back. So that's why I'm telling you to get this business so you can write this stuff off and or pay it over time or establish business credit so you're keeping your money in your bank account, your debit, and you're using the credit and pay that back later on over time. So you never really run out of bread. You're using an extra man, if you will.
And I'll add one more thing to that. Maybe whatever job you get, you can look for a job. I don't know what you're in school for, but look for a job that, like you said, will benefit you in some way. I work for a radio station as a business manager. A radio station has the same business model as a podcast.
See what I'm saying?
I'm doing the books. I'm doing accounting work. So I can
see what's going on,
what to do, what not to do, and learn while I'm collecting a check
100%.
to put into a podcast. And, you know, you learn. So, like, don't think of it as, oh, I'm stuck in this 9 to 5.
And you're gaining resources too.
Yeah,
right?
and
like,
you don't know who you're going to meet there. You might meet somebody who can help propel
100%.
your career. Don't be afraid of the job.
She ain't lying.
Keep your focus on your art form, whatever that may be, and stay passionate. I hope it works out for you. And if you make some music, send it to me. I love music.
Yeah, me too. I'll take a listen too.
I can't do nothing with it, but I'll listen.
I'll point you. I got a pointer finger. I can point you in the right direction. That's what I can do. I got you.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. I really enjoyed this conversation.
This was fun.
Now, tell everybody where they can find you, keep up with you.
Man, I'm gonna tell y'all
and
the
what
truth.
You got going on.
I'm trying real hard to get my name back on Instagram, y'all. Give me like a couple.
Yeah, I was looking for you on Instagram, and I saw it's a different name.
Whoever has at Roscoe Dash on Instagram, you wrong for that. All right, give it back. Okay,
what
the world
they be
needs.
Posting?
I don't know. They don't be posting that. It has no.
That's
post
rude.
on it.
They
It's
want
crazy.
You to buy it.
It's wild.
It's a scam.
The world is treacherous out here, but nonetheless, my Instagram now is URD Juice. Letter U, letter R, letter D, Juice. My Twitter is at Roscoe Dash. Everything else is at Roscoe Dash pretty much. And I think my YouTube is at Roscoe Dash Online or something like that.
And you just released a new song recently, right?
Yeah, I'm actually got a feature record and a record that I put out. We're actually rolling and getting ready to roll into another record as we get ready to change speeds for the spring and summertime or whatever. I got 2 projects I'm working on right now. One's an R&B project and one's a project called Let's Have Fun, trying to bring fun back to music. We're working on a documentary. I'm on my 3rd independent film too that just dropped in November called Make It Rain. The other 2 are called For the Gram and Rackades. Shout out to King June. So yeah, I've been getting it in.
Yeah, you've been busy working. Okay, we got to help him get his Instagram back too, y'all.
And my TikTok, follow me on TikTok too. I don't know why I'm trying to get in. I can't even. I just got to be able to go live like last week.
What you be doing on TikTok? You dancing?
I be doing dances with my daughter and stuff. My 12-year-old be in there
trends?
cutting up. Yeah, she be on there wilding out.
Okay, we're going to follow you.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode. It has been a good one. Y'all make sure you check the description box for the links to all of our social platforms as well as Roscoe Dash. Until next week, you guys, that's it for the xoMAN podcast. Goodbye.